What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Let's talk Tottenham. And today we're finally getting back to our normal rhythm of talking about the matches. I had some questions that I posted on the Discord server. And if you are not yet a part of our Discord server, please join us. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. But let me show you how you can join us on the Discord server. If you go to my channel page and then up here in the right hand corner you see this little Discord link, click on that. If you don't have an account, just set up an account quickly and you'll jump right into it. It'll literally give you a link right to our server. And if you want to follow me on TikTok as well, Spurs Appetit, just 15 to 60-second morsels of Tottenham content. You know what I'm talking about? So jump in there. But we'd love to have you talking Tottenham on the Discord server. The first 100 people will actually get to be part of the first team. Got all these cool different roles, right? So you'll be part of the first team. Second 100 members start at Member Plus. Everyone after that starts right at the Member. And the more you talk Tottenham, the higher your level goes, and you can get all the way up to, I think there's 50 levels. And also just want to show you this. This is our leaderboard. You can see Regina and Techno are up at the top by far and away, talking Tottenham more than anyone else. And it's awesome. You guys are awesome. You make the Discord server amazing. And yeah, so you can get in here. The more you talk Tottenham, the higher your level gets, the more access you can get, etc. So I highly recommend you join our Discord server and you can be part of this. I'll hear your thoughts and interact with you on some of the questions you might have for me and some of the questions I have for you. So I posted a couple questions in the Discord server. And usually there's always one particular question, which is, you know, summarize your post-match thoughts. And I always tell people, if you can do a 30 to 45 second clip in a voice memos app, that would be awesome. You can DM me in the Discord, or you can just put it right in the Discord. I'll show you. Regina did that this time. And I'd love to hear your highlights, lowlights, call out a player, whatever you want to talk about. I'd love to hear your post-match thoughts. So let me share a little bit of mine from the game. I felt like overall it was a decent game. It was not terrible to watch, which after the match against Leeds, yeah, this was, I wouldn't say it was refreshing, but it felt good to get a good handle on the game. I felt like there was some really good performances all around. Not too many poor performances either, but this is not competition in the top half of the table, let alone the top six. So not really sure what to make of that. You know, I want to see us end the season well or strong, and hopefully they can do that. But one of the things I wanted to show you, you know, 24 shots to 15. We had 13 shots on target. That's beautiful. 62% possession. If you're into that, if you're a Jose stan, you might be like, who cares? But overall, I would say it was a very good performance. But one of the things that was pointed out here, Tottenham had 24 shots in this match, 13 of which were on target. Both figures exceed any amount they had in a single Premier League match under previous manager Jose Mourinho. That is crazy to me. You know, we had some really great games. You think of the game against Southampton. You think of the game against Manchester United at the beginning of the season. And we were flying. We were scoring goals, but not nearly as many shots, and certainly not nearly as many shots on target. That is an interesting insight into this match. So I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. What were your post-match thoughts? Who do you think played well? I thought Dele did play really well, and was glad to see him getting back to the Dele Alli that I believe in and I remember. So I want to go to the Discord server. We had some great comments. Sinlay said, Dele was wonderful, but should have scored from the rebound in the first half. Kane scored a goal, had a great game as well. Only watched the first 70 minutes, but the defense did well. I thought apart from the chance, which luckily the Wolves player didn't head well enough. Champions League, unlikely, but mathematically still have a chance. Miracles can happen, and we've seen it before. Cough, cough, West Ham 3-3. When you think about this table, let me pull it up really quick. Manchester City, they've already won it. United, Leicester, top three spots are gone. Mathematically, it's still possible, but I do not think that it's probable that we end up getting Champions League football. Again, would love to hear your thoughts. Would love to know how you feel the game went. So let me hop back into Discord for a second. And Regina posted some post-match thoughts. Here is what she had to say.
I actually didn't watch the match, but I was tuned into a watch along. And from what I heard, the standout performer was Dele. He was doing what cheeky Dele does best, nutmegging players, and most of our attacking play went through him. So that's another step in the right direction.
Totally.
Overall, it was a professional, decent team performance. No one was particularly poor. And that's typical Spurs, to be honest. Putting in a good shift only when the pressure is off us. But
yeah, Regina, that's one thing right now that I'm most concerned about. When you start looking at the level of competition we've been able to beat in 2021, it's not in the top half of the table. And I don't know if that's the mentals. I don't know if that's the physicals of just, playing so many matches in this kind of a COVID environment. Maybe that's part of it too, is just the mental strength. I don't know if they have the mental strength. Certainly they're dropping points at the ends of games, but with fans not being there, etc., what all contributes to some of that. But my hope is that whoever they bring in as a manager is going to be able to help with some of that, maybe bring in some sports psychologists or whatever, and hopefully be able to compete against top-level competition as well. But let me continue on with your audio.
Yeah, we still have 2 games left to qualify for Europa, and we'll hopefully end the season on somewhat of a positive note.
Totally. Thanks as always, Regina. And I know you got another audio in here about my other question, but yeah, I think you're spot on. This is a good performance against mediocre or mid-table quality, and it's good to see, but also not really promising anything when you start to think about next season and what we hope, well, even just this season, and what we hoped to achieve. So that was my first question, just about post-match thoughts. Again, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. The next question that I had was, what did you make of that starting 11? And I pointed out a couple different things here. First of all, Tanganga at right back. Doherty was brought in to be that second right back, and Tanganga is still being picked ahead of him. I don't know what that means. I would be interested to see if he is, floated around on the transfer market this summer, because he just has not fit in well. And maybe they bring in a manager that figures out how to play him well, but he did not do well under the system that Jose Mourinho was trying to implement. And so I think it was great for Tanganga. I thought he had a decent game. Some of his, he's very, even though he's kind of what seems like a quiet personality, he seems confident when he steps on that pitch. And I love to see that. I love to see him, taking the ball on, taking players on, trying to drive down that right-hand side. So I was glad to see that in some ways, but also have some question marks about Doherty. Secondly, one of the things I noticed again, Tanguy Ndombele as a sub. What is it going to take to get this guy into the starting 11? I don't know if it's, he's come back from that injury. I don't know if it's just not the right style, or if maybe Ryan Mason is just trying to give Dele minutes and boost his confidence, or, potentially, I don't think Dele leaves this summer, but potentially for Dele to kind of get his mojo back before hitting the transfer market. I mean, that's definitely a possibility. I don't think it's a probability, though. I was having a text conversation with somebody about Tanguy Ndombele and Giovanni Lo Celso playing together, and I also think it's also trying to figure out Tanguy Ndombele and Dele. They don't seem to be able to be on the pitch really well at the same time. And so, Rob, who's also part of our Discord server, was texting me about this, and he brought up his thoughts, and sure enough, lo and behold, The Athletic had an article about it, which I'm a little frustrated with The Athletic and all the clickbait stuff they've had with our very own Harry Kane. But it's this particular sentence or paragraph here. It says, it's hard to imagine a good Spurs team next season that does not make the most of Ndombele's unique skill set. At the same time, it's hard to see how they can progress without the completeness and all-around contribution of Lo Celso. Now, I've given Lo Celso a really hard time in my last little YouTube short because he literally, in that Leeds game, he dribbled the ball right out of bounds with nobody on him. And there's nothing I can do but laugh. And it's a sad laughter, right? It's laughter because it's just so sad. How does that happen with a Premier League level player? I don't know. I do think we have all this midfield talent. It's a question mark for me. The jury's still out for me about Giovanni Lo Celso, which is frustrating because I think we kind of brought him in thinking that he was going to be a bit of a Christian Eriksen replacement, and he's certainly not that. I don't ever really see him picking out a pass that's just wows me. And then you got Tanguy Ndombele, who busts through that press, is able to use his weight and his movement to get through incredible situations with defenders all around him. How does Dele fit into that? Lucas doesn't see any of the pitch. Lamela, right? So my thought is whoever they're going to bring in as a manager, this is their dilemma. Is who do they want to keep? Who do they want to sell? Who are they going to bring in? And I've seen some reports about Grealish and things like that. That would be incredible. I don't know how expensive that guy's going to be to bring in. I think it would take a lot to make something like that happen. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because I think it's just very interesting that Ndombele is still a sub, and I think he's fully fit. So the last thing that I brought up is no Rodon at all. I mean, he's not even on the bench. So one thing that's so frustrating about this season is I feel like I don't even know our squad, because I don't know the difference between someone who was playing poorly and somebody who got on Jose's bad list and just didn't end up in the starting 11, and Jose would hold the line. You think about Gareth Bale having that poor performance in the North London derby and then disappeared. Dele has not played very much at all, except for in Europa and things like that. And it just leaves me as a fan in a place where I don't know what I'm seeing on the pitch. And, so Joe Rodon comes in and he fills in. Sanchez, I haven't seen Sanchez. He was on the bench in front of Rodon, but Sanchez hasn't played since Mason has come in. So there's just a lot of question marks about our defense. There's too many players in the midfield. In some ways, it could be a good problem for the next manager that's coming in, because they're going to have something to work with in terms of the midfield. They'll have some players to be able to sell on, maybe raise some funds to bring up somebody in that back four. So those are some of the questions that I had. And again, Regina came in with this wonderful Discord audio, and let's see, here's what she had to say about the starting 11.
So Ndombele was left out of the starting lineup once again, which is quite baffling for me. I don't know if he's not showing enough in training, or Mason is very pleased with Lo Celso, or if he just prefers and trusts Gio more.
Which, by the way, Regina, I'm with you. Personally, I'm not convinced, like I said, about Giovanni Lo Celso. And I would rather see Ndombele in there instead of Gio. If you disagree with me, put it in the comments. Tell me why.
But it was disappointing to see Rodon excluded from the squad again.
Yeah.
He could have at least been placed on the bench ahead of Sanchez, or better yet, been partnered with Toby. But to be fair, at least we're seeing some kind of consistency from the back line with the Diane Toby partnership. But I would like to see Rodon and Ndombele a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. And I loved this little comment that Regina made. Free Rodon or I riot. I love it. So, and Regina, you got a question there for me as well, and I'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts about the starting 11, what we're seeing right now from this squad. I mean, it was a clean sheet, but a very similar back line saw 3 goals go in against Leeds United. So it's Jekyll and Hyde. It's just really hard to know with Tottenham right now. Now, let me share this. This is another question that I posted on the Discord server, which I'll share here in kind of a bigger place. Thoughts on the protest? I wondered if anyone was able to attend. If you're a subscriber, you were able to attend the protest. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Personally, I was a little bit surprised at what the turnout looked like. You know, with the strength of the Tottenham Hotspur Supporter Trust letters, you know, being unwilling to meet with the board, wanting the whole board to resign. And I think they represent something like 20,000 supporters. I would have imagined thousands of people at the protest. They did it on a Saturday. Now, I know it's not before a match. If it was before a match, maybe that would have been more helpful. But again, with fans not being able to fully fill up those stands too, with COVID, right? There's just so many different elements as to maybe why people didn't show up. Or maybe people are just kind of resigned to Enoch and Levy. And I want to hear that too. So yeah, all I would say is I was a little surprised that there weren't more people at the protest. And I think I've shared my thoughts a little bit about this. You know, I feel like, you know, as a supporter from overseas, I'm over here in Michigan in the United States. My thoughts of, I'm not necessarily like trying to protest Levy and Enoch in the sense that I don't see who comes in and buys this thing at this level. It's just such a large, unless it's Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or something like that. You know, I don't know, maybe Bill Gates' wife, who's newly divorced or about to be, maybe she's interested in a team in North London. But anyway, I just don't know how that sale happens. So we're kind of stuck with that. I think what was most telling from the protest, there was an interview done by a man that was saying, you know, the Supporters Trust asked the board directly, are you in talks with, or are you part of any sort of Super League? And the board of Tottenham, not the Supporters Trust, but the board itself, categorically denied being part of a Super League. So if you're categorically denying it, and then it comes out that, no, you signed some documents, you're in this thing. Yeah, I mean, you just lied. And so that sort of breakdown of trust with the trust, because I don't know how else to say that, but yeah, you've broken the trust with the trust. So I can see why they're saying, you all lied to us. We don't want to work with a board that's like that. Now there's strength in pushing back, and then the statement from the board, I guess. It wasn't a statement from Levy that apologized, that said now a fan will be part of the board. It's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. But I do think, yeah, I expected to see a little bit more from the protest. And I would love to know your thoughts on the protest. Did you think it was worthwhile, at least make some sort of statement? Do you think that it is not worthwhile? Yeah, do you feel like the Supporters Trust represents you? That's another question that I have. So anyway, had that question. And then, as always, I like to do a little bit of questions for me. What questions do you have for me that I could talk about on today's show? And so going back to the Discord server, Regina asked, which manager would you like to see get appointed as Tottenham manager, and why do you think he'll be the right fit for us? And I might do a whole video on this, so I'm going to kind of shirk answering that question right now. But here's why. There are so many names that have been floated out, and I think the Telegraph had another name today. And the way that I know Tottenham, this club that I love, is that I bet they've got conversations going on with someone that I don't even really know about. I mean, I would not have expected Jose Mourinho to be the next manager after Mauricio Pochettino. I just wouldn't have. And I did not expect a Mauricio Pochettino to come in after AVB and Tim Sherwood, right? So what I will say, though, is the type of manager that I want, because I think that's what's important. We need a manager that is a developing players style of manager. Jose Mourinho did not develop players. He expected you to be developing yourself, I think. And he was focusing on tactics, probably mostly defensively, but whatever. I'm not really sure what to even make of all that. But just to say, I want someone who's going to take these young guys, these young, talented players, and develop them, instill confidence in them. And, you know, I don't know if we can hope for the way that Pochettino was having us punch above our weight season after season. But I do think there should be talent enough in this squad for us to challenge for Champions League football every season. And I think that we are getting to these finals, but we're not getting across the line. So someone who's been there, who's gotten championships, who's going to invest in these young players, and, you know, hopefully when the fans are allowed back in the stands and such, there will be some more funds to put back into this team. So that's what I want. Now, as for like style of play and things like that, obviously, I'm a Tottenham fan, and I love the flair and the Dele Alli kind of style of enjoying watching football. Now, that being said, I'll be honest, I was willing to give that up to win trophies in Jose. Like I was willing to say, in Jose we trust, if it wins us trophies. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm frustrated. I probably would have, I don't know if I'd have showed up at the protest necessarily, but I want to protest against firing the guy you brought in to win you cups, to win you silverware 6 days before he had the opportunity to win you silverware. That seems like a purely financial decision, not a glory decision. And this game is supposed to be about glory. That's what we say. So yeah, so I know that might not fully answer your question, Regina, and like I said, I'd like to have a more in-depth conversation about that and get into some of the different managers that have been talked about, and hopefully as it gets narrowed down. I just think it's so broad right now that it's hard for me to put any name out there. So last is an audio from and a question from Luke Ferris. So let's listen to this audio in the first place, and then I'll answer Luke's question. So this is Luke from the Discord server.
Hello, Spurs fans. How are you feeling as we crawl towards the season's conclusion? I'm still shocked that somehow we're technically in the top 4 race with 2 matches to go.
I think we're all still shocked. I thought top 4 was done with like at least 2 or 3 games ago.
Who would have thought? I have to say my highlight of the match, besides seeing some deli nutmegs and attacking creativity, is when my wife came into the room while I was watching in the second half, and she was shocked by the attractiveness of Ryan Mason. With Scott Parker being relegated with Fulham, is Ryan Mason the best looking manager in the Premier League?
That's it. That's the question. Oh my gosh. And that was, here, I'll just show you on the Discord server. This was his question. Is Ryan Mason the best looking manager in the Premier League? Well, I think we have to answer that question by simply looking at the data. So I don't have all the managers up here, but let's just run through them really quickly. Sean Dyche definitely, I think, has the greatest voice, but I just can't say that I'm a big fan of goatees. So I'm going to have to say definitely not in the top 3. This picture of Jurgen Klopp, I mean, I think this is about as classy as it gets for him. Usually, I think if he was to do his little thing with his teeth, you wouldn't feel the same way about this more endearing picture. Pep, I think he is the strongest bald of the Prem, so we can give him that for sure. He's got the salt and pepper beard as well, which is a theme. If you'll notice, that salt and pepper beard look is all around the league, and I think some of these look really well. Roy Hodgson, yeah, if you're into noses, this is the guy for you. Marcelo Bielsa, this is a man that looks like your friend's dad. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, don't cross him. But I'm not sure if he's the best looking, but he definitely looks like my friend's dad. This looks like the guy that's in the office. Like, he's somebody you work with in the office. He's probably executive management somewhere. Friendly enough. But anyway, Hasenhüttl, which I'm probably saying that wrong. It's a struggle for me to say. He also looks like he doesn't look like a Premier League head coach to me so much as he looks like he would be a coach of like a local kids team somewhere. Ole just looks mischievous at all times to me. Brendan Rodgers, Barrage, as I've heard him called before. Steve Bruce. I mean, these are all people. David Moyes, I'm not going to put them in the top 3. Big Sam, dude, I know he's only grabbing a Sharpie, but it looks like he's grabbing a pie of some sort. Yeah, Tuchel. And then we're starting to look at the managers that have been named with Tottenham. Graham Potter, I love this picture of him. I know that's not as current as ever, but the hair just says, I don't care. And then you were mentioning Scott Parker, recently relegated. I mean, this guy, he's definitely a stud. But Ryan Mason, I think because Scott Parker has been recently relegated, it's got to go to Ryan Mason, best looking manager in the Prem at this moment. So I hope that answers your question, Luke. Thank you so much for it. And I love that stuff. If you have a different opinion, if you think there's a better looking manager, you let me know in those comments down below. Thanks so much for watching this video. Like I said, if you're not part of the Discord server, get in there, join this conversation, follow me over on TikTok, Spurs Appetit. I would love to share some of those shorts with you. I also post some of those here on YouTube. But yeah, would love to get into this rhythm a little bit more often. And like I like to say, as ever, it was great talking with you.